There are three theories about Puck Fair. There is the Freudian theory that the puck goat is, of course, a fertility symbol. Then there is the other theory, which is promulgated by the people of Killorglin, that in the 17th century a puck goat saved the town from extermination. My own particular theory is that the puck goat is the very first tourist gimmick ever invented.
Oh, Paula, we're going to come up over here and I'm going to tell you a story about something very strange that happens in Killorglin, County Kerry, every year in the month of August. On August 10th, 11th and 12th every year in Killorglin, they get a big goat. And do you know where they get the goat? Up on the mountains. Up on the mountains. And there are wild goats on the mountains. And a man named Frank Joy goes out every year and he catches a wild goat. And we're here at the side of the mountain, and Frank goes up and he catches a goat every year for Puck Fair. And this year he's after catching a lovely big black goat. Have you ever seen a black goat? Have you ever seen a goat?
Well, I don't know.
Well, the goat that Frank caught is going to be brought into Killorglin and is going to be placed on a stand. And the stand is way up into the sky. Do you know why they put the goat up on the stand? No, it's a very strange story. One of the stories is that there were soldiers coming into the town many, many years ago, and they were going to attack the town.
Yeah, I know. Well, how did he save the town?
Well, the soldiers were coming down the mountains, and there were a herd of goats that were grazing on the side of the mountain. And
What means grazing?
Grazing means eating grass. You don't graze, do you? Well, the goats were grazing, and the soldiers were coming along, and they made too much noise, and the goats ran into the town of Killorglin.
And running, and then rolled over them.
No, the people inside in Killorglin heard all the goats coming, and all the people heard the goats, and they said there must be something up. And they got up, and they were ready when the soldiers came to attack the town. The people in the town were ready for them.
He saved the town.
Exactly. And because of that, they put a crown on the goat, and they crown him as king of the fair for every year.
People have come from America, from Australia, from England, to try to probe the origin of Puck Fair, but they all have failed.
It's a sort of like a Thanksgiving, I suppose. I put it that way to you, you know. And there must have been some reason for it that we don't know about. It's dating back for centuries that we don't know nothing about.
The goat catchers who chase the puck and the historians who chase his tail both admit they have no real idea of why they do what they do here in Killorglin each August. But once the chosen puck has been captured, he's immediately taken to the foot of the mountain to be paraded before the world and his subjects.
So you're satisfied with him?
Yes, we are. Yes, satisfied. He's back what's needed.
The poor thing. All tied up like that. No, that's a shame.
Well, he comes to no harm. You know, he's treated very well for the 3 days that we keep him, you know. We feed him well, and I'm sure that through his time in the mountains that he'll come across something more difficult with dogs and so on, and, you know, being under threat at all times, whereas we're not doing any harm to the animal. And we look after him well.
That's actually disgusting, you know, down there.
Protests like this do niggle the goat catchers, but with a stout insistence that the puck comes to no harm, his entourage takes him to the nearest pub to begin a week of revelry and celebration.
next time you'll see this goat will be at about 7 o'clock next Saturday, when he will be crowned King Puck by Anya Knightley, who was the Queen of Puck Fair for 1996. And for 3 days, the goat will act the king and the people will act the goat, and we'll have great fun in Killarney. And won't you all come along?
It was on a summer's evening in the merry month of May. I was coming from the fair of Capamore. I was driving home.
From the crack of dawn on Gathering Day, the first of the 3 days of Puck Fair, Kilorglin's streets resound to the revelry of the balladeer and the latter-day troubadour.
Hide your hangover glasses. Anybody else? £1 a pair.
What do you think of this year's Puck Fair?
That is as good as any I've ever seen, Jim. Couldn't be better. Great atmosphere. First class.
Loud and healthy, good stuff.
I've travelled for 12 hours here by car to come down here, and it's great. This is my third time down.
Nationally, I think we're the envy of the country, because we have a festival that's alive and healthy and continuing to grow, and I think the hard work of everybody involved is what keeps it going, and we look forward to Puck Fair being around again in the next century.
Buy a horse. Buy a horse. It's a horse fair, you buy a horse. It's about 3 good legs on it now, 3 good legs. You won't get a better bargain in Puck Fair today. Anyone buy a horse?
Buying and selling horses has been at the heart of the Puck Fair experience for countless generations. Today there was success for some, but for others there was disappointment.
I'm coming here with 45 and 6 years into Puck, and this was the worst Puck I ever hit. Even the old porter got stale down there in the pub.
You have a 3-year-old jumping pony there. What would he be worth?
Around 700.
And have you had an offer so far today?
I would have a lot looking for him, but no one inclined to buy it.
I think the prices basically are down overall. £1,000, £1,500. It's like a man said down the fair further. The big horses are making little money and the little ponies are making big money.
On a day of hand-slapping and colliding cultures, most had come to haggle and to sell. But a familiar face in the crowd was here to capture the spirit of a great fair which has long enthralled her. Pauline Buick, what does Puck Fair mean to you?
Well, I think it's very wild and earthy, and it has a feeling that it hasn't been touched by modernisation. I love the mixture of the men, mostly, and some of the women, while they're trying to sell their horses, their faces and their expressions. And I must say I always bring my sketch piece of paper or pad.
When you did your own series of pictures of Puck, what were you trying to capture at that time?
Well, the goat up on the stand for 3 days and 3 nights, I just felt that this was such an amazing thing, that us humans should all be gathering underneath a goat way up in the sky, and the goat peeing down on the girls dancing underneath them, and they just go on dancing in their beautiful embroidered outfits. But the show went on, even though the goat was peeing down on them.
What do you think is behind the tradition? We've had many attempts by people to explain it all.
Yeah, well, I like to think it's fertility. That's what I like to think. I think because it's gone back so far and nobody has an accurate history of it, it could well be a fertility thing, because there was no guilt or shame way back, I believe, and that could be explain the silence afterwards when guilt and shame came into it, but they kept the fair going. Here's your picture.
Sure.
Not bad.
Well, it's tricky. It started.
Puzzle might have been a bit better.
Where you? What? I mean the nostril.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're dead right.
No, that's better.
Is that better?
Yes.
Tim, do you think that the picture's any good?
It's not too bad.
Well, he was good about the nose.
At the nostril, the lower part of the nose. A little improvement, but she can practice for the day.
Would you swap the horse for the painting?
No, I'd say not.
Not at the moment. Not at this moment, no.
Well, I mean, Pauline Buick's pictures sell for 5, 10, 15, 20,000 pounds, you must realise.
I don't think that one will.
Misery.
I don't think so. Maybe £5 now.
Oh!
There's something in it.
At the end of the day, there's none of these left, and I'll tell you why. Win, lose or draw, I'm going to sell them.
And as ever, in the midst of the hurly-burly, there were questions, and even more questions from Paula for the storyteller of Kilorglin.
A cob is a young horse. You have the baby one, and then he's a cob, a bit like a teenager. Are you a teenager yet?
No.
No. Would you like to be a teenager? Yeah. And when you're a teenager...
But you wouldn't have to stay at home.
Well, when you're a teenager, you'll come to Puck Fair, and you'll come to the horse fair as well.
Yeah, because it's better then, because you can go on lots of stuff like the big wheel and stuff. And like if you wanted to come on the Walsters all by yourself, you could do it by yourself.
And you can buy your pony, you can buy the pony all by yourself.
Yeah, because...
And then later on this evening, then when people are finished buying and selling, do you know what's going to happen in the evening time?
What?
They're going to bring in the goat.
Oh, I'd love to see the goat.
And what's going to happen to the goat? Remember I told you...
They put him up on the stand.
And?
Put the crown on.
Well, he said, and then he's going to be Ireland's only king for 3 days and 3 nights. And there'll be a huge crowd, and when the goat goes up, they're all going to start...
Stop what?
Cheering! Yay! Come on, let's pretend the goat is there. We'll start cheering at the goat. Come on. Hey! We'll say, come on, King Puck. Up, King Puck. Hip, hip. Oh, no, my big hooray. Come on. Hip, hip. Hey! Hip, hip. Hey! Hip, hip. Hey!
Come on with the story.
The story about the King Puck? I told you the story about King Puck over and over again.
In the old days, it was a more traditional festival. We have aspects of the fair that are gone, unfortunately. For instance, the travelling people with their colourful caravans, they came in large numbers and they went along the road and they told fortunes, the women told fortunes and the men traded on horses and ponies at the fair. That's gone now. The travellers come and they have lino and antiques and things, but they're not so discernible from the ordinary people as they were in the old days. But anyway, it's very Sigerson Clifford, the great Kerry poet, whose monument is in the main street of Carseville. He was a great admirer of the travelling people in Puck Fair. He wrote the ballad of a bogman and the ballad of a tinker boy, and one of his great the opening verses of that goes something like this: "Perch upon the barrel's edge and slug your porter down. We swap the tales of travelling men with their women lean and brown, who sing the roads when old King Puck reigns in Kilorglin town." And then again we had the opening hours, the old 72 hours non-stop drinking. The pubs opened their door at 10 o'clock to gather in the morning and didn't close them again until 6 o'clock 3 days after scattering morning. Now that drinking is cut down till 3 o'clock, and it's open again at 6 o'clock for the fair. And then again we had 2 ballrooms in Kilorglin. That's another aspect of the fair that's gone that I regret. The biggest bands in Ireland came into Kilorglin. They played there in the ballrooms, and they were patronised by dancers from all over Kerry, from all over Ireland.
fantastic, you know. I just haven't recovered since last night.
The pubs in Killorglin no longer stay open round the clock for 3 days and 3 nights. 24-hour drinking has given way to 18 and 21-hour sessions, with the town's 22 inns, taverns and alehouses now closing their doors at 3 a.m. for a brief drinking up and sweeping up period before the frenzy begins all over again.
I've been here for the last 15 years non-stop to enjoy myself. Greatest festival that you could ever go to enjoy yourself, make friends, meet new people and have a wider view of the world. If you don't mind,
circled Killorglin and had to come to Puck Fair.
We've never seen a goat crown before in Texas.
There's just an amazing clientele of people from Germany, London, Liverpool, blacks, whites, greens, ex-torrential. It's just an amazing space to be in.
Puck Fair is no longer just a national event, it's an international event. We'd have anything up to 100,000 people attending Puck Fair over the 3 days. It's worth something in the region of 1.5 million to the local economy. It's a major boost to Kerry.
Some people chase them on the hills, others chase them off the roads. Wilma O'Connor and her family simply fell in love with them as pets, and they milked them to make cheese.
Here at the moment you see a couple of female goats, and that's what we're really doing here. These goats are a small hobby of us. We make cheese. And we also make a bit of goat's cheese, actually. We use the milk of these goats to make a soft cheese and a feta. Goats are quite nice animals, actually, to have. They're intelligent. They're very, what you call it, very amicable with you, you know. And they give a lovely type of milk. The goat used to be the kind of the poor man's cow a long time ago. And it's not the poor man anymore, but it is often the richer kind of people at the moment who would keep a cow, or who wouldn't keep a cow because they wouldn't have enough land for it, but who would keep a goat as a kind of a pet or a hobby animal. But they're lovely, they get very attached to you and you get very attached to them as well.
Your children seem particularly attached to these goats.
Oh, they're quite attached to them. Yeah, they love them, actually. You know, they are adorable, you know, when you see them when they're that small as well. You know, this one is just 3 days old now. A nice little he-goat.
Belongs to her.
You never know, we might rear him yet for the puck.
Baby goats, they're adorable, and their eyes are so cute and everything as well.
They're nice. They're really cute when they're small. And they're just fun because you can chase them around the field trying to catch them.
So adorable, and he's so clever as well. And their ears, they're always sticking it up. And sometimes one of them might have an ear and it keeps hanging down. And it's not so nice.
For far longer than anybody can remember, a wild mountain goat has been paraded through these streets as summer turns to autumn each year, and it never fails to enthrall. Ludicrous and ridiculous though it may seem to the uninitiated, this annual pageantry attracts tens of thousands of visitors to Killorglin, all of them straining to catch a glimpse of the famous goat.
I need to be higher.
I can't be higher.
No. Oh, look, what's that? That's the goat. Can you see the goat?
Yeah.
Do you like him?
Yeah, he's beautiful. He's the most beautiful goat I've ever seen.
Is he the biggest goat you've ever seen?
Yeah.
The mock solemnity of the occasion may sometimes falter, as Puck's coronation cage is secured. Traditionally, his 3-day reign is proclaimed in a babel of languages.
Please keep on there. For the first time for King Puck 1996, hip hip! Hip hip!
And then it's time for the great Puck to be elevated beyond the world of little people, to that place where language and myth merge and the realm of the imagination reigns supreme.
Now, Paula, isn't that an exciting story? We started off telling you about the goat back in Ballyclave the other day, and then we saw him being crowned, and there he is, away up on the very top of the stand. He's Ireland's only king. And maybe in 6 years' time, who could be the Queen of Puck Fair? Would you like that? Well, there's a promise. In 6 years' time, we're going to have Paula Murray as Queen of Puck Fair. Do you know what we'll do? Would you mind sealing it with a little kiss?
Sealing.
You have to get back in.
Ah, that was lovely.
3 kisses already.
You'll have no teeth left.
So give a big wave to King Puck.
Go on, wave up.
And say, see him again next year.
Yeah.
Have you any little message for the goat? Go on, give a little message to the goat.
Yeah, I'm glad he's the king because he's the most beautiful. He's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen.
I think we'd all have to agree with that. And you know, you're not bad yourself.